Hello everyone, this is Son of Winter, Dongyang. Hungry Ghost Festival will be here soon. I will try to share more ghost stories during the Hungry Ghost Festival. 中元节. Today, I'll be sharing another story from an army camp in Singapore. The sharing for today is not going to be very long. It will be made up of a series of short stories by a friend who shared this story with me. He is from the Selarang camp. I'm not sure if anyone know about this camp. Maybe you have heard horror stories regarding this camp. I'm going to share some of the stories he shared from his perspective. Please tighten your seatbelt and get ready. I'm going to tell you some stories of my army days. I was from a fenced-off small unit at Selarang. Those who are from there will know which unit is this by the time I finish this story. There were a few spooky stories to tell from my stint in the unit as an NSF. After 9/11, our RSM Bobian have to put us on 24-hour guard duty. This includes SBO, rifle, gate duty and prowling within the unit grounds, which we felt were a waste of time. Behind the main barracks block was a stream of very old and big trees. The floodlight that is supposed to illuminate this area at night always damaged and was expensive to replace, so the last time it was replaced was a few years ago. So now after 9/11, RSM Bobian have to replace. But it will take a few weeks, if not a month, before it is replaced, so we have to prowl before there with flashlight. The thing is, my RSM was also from the unit, so he know all the dirty stories of the unit. During my time there, he will drop me advice about certain places in the unit while giving me the look that he is talking about the spooky stuff. So, his advice to me is to prowl that place with flashlight. There got no pathway, so if you don't want to enter the space, just flashlight the area from both ends and don't anyhow shine the flashlight, especially into the trees. First night of my duty, I flashlight into the area, and the area is so dark, I swear it ate up the light of my flashlight, but it didn't illuminate anything. I decided not to go into the area either, as it just didn't feel good nor right. After 2 to 3 weeks later, the floodlight was replaced. It spoiled again about a month later. My RSM sibei dulan. That was the story about the flashlight that never get repaired. Next is another story about this unknown figure in the camp. As you know, all the enlistee bunks are on the 4th floor of the block. Office are at the 2nd floor. 3rd floor is officer mess and officer bunks. One morning, while all of us were up and about getting ready or taking a quick nap before changing into work fatigues, I saw a guy in a green mechanic overall walk past my room along the corridor. See, the thing is that overall is only worn by 2 regular. They were not in camp until 8:30, and it was of somebody who I couldn't recognize. And that person just walked past the corridor rather quickly without looking into the bunk, which is what a commander will do because they all do not know which bunk we all sleep in. I was the RPOIC back then, so I started asking around if anyone saw this person and know who he was. Nobody who saw him knew, and when I checked with the guys who were overall in the unit, they all said it wasn't them. So it was a bit weird that this green mechanic overall guy was walking around the camp and nobody know who he is. The next story. The commander mess is haunted by at least 2 ghosts. One female ghost in white and a male ghost. The male ghost once shouted into my buddy ears one afternoon when he fell asleep in the mess. He didn't want to be alone in the mess for the rest of his NSF tour. Many people saw the female ghost, including my then S2 and my RSM when he was a young sergeant. The commander mess storeroom also had this eerie feeling. The door to the room has a small glass panel, and we always had this strange feeling that something was looking at us through the panel, but there was nothing there. I make it a soft rule to keep the light in the storeroom on when the mess stewards were doing night duty. If not, they will see something very, very strange. How do you find the story? I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to share another story from another camp, not Selarang camp but Stepmom camp, okay, by another friend. So I hope you enjoy for this one, the haunted Stagmont camp. I'm sure you may have heard stories about how haunted this camp is. It is haunted for real. So I'm going to say this from the perspective of a friend. In my time, there were metal grills cordoning off the top floor, but it was left unlocked and the lights were permanently switched on. We went up to explore one evening where the trainer decided not to give us nights off. At first, it seems just like normal bunks with some personal belongings in some of them. Then as we walk on, things just don't feel right as the bunks have pictures of deities, Quran and crosses pasted on the walls of the middle bunks. One specific bunk in the middle had its door locked with a padlock, but it's open by one side of the hinges. I remember thinking to myself how solid the door felt when it was only held on by a padlock. A couple of us stuck our head to see what that is. I was a few percent behind the first guy, and I saw that this room was in complete darkness, except for a white figure at the end of the room. The first guy to stick his head in came out. His face was totally pale, and he just said to all of us that it's a good idea just to go back down and not to remain here. Something is not right. Okay, this room is weird. There's something there that cannot be explained. Okay, nobody know what is there. It was locked and nobody dare to go in. Just like he said, we hear chains dragging sounds coming from the other wing, as this building is actually L-shaped. We all spring down to our bunks on the 5th floor when we hear the chains. So can you imagine? You hear something but you cannot explain why. So that night was the hardest to fall asleep, as even the slightest sound made me jump. Oh gosh. There was another story that I'd like to share. This will be the last one, the third story regarding Tekong. Tekong Ferry Jetty toilet by another friend who shared about his encounter in the toilet at Tekong Ferry Jetty. So I'm going to share from his perspective. So yeah, there will be a lot of army ghost stories today. During my time in Tekong, I was in Charlie company, and there was this week which my company was scheduled for round the island prowl. Ghana aeroed with a few others. Last time have not received M16, so we were assigned with baton and a rattan shell. That thing with a buddy who recently injured his leg during training, so movement was a bit slow for him. Ghana 2 different time slot for prowl, just after sunset and 2 a.m. plus. Cut story short, fast forward to 2 a.m. prowl. I finished my prowl and went to the toilet in the jetty to wash up my face and fill up my water bottle from my SBO. It was a very humid night and very sweaty and uncomfortable. The toilet was quite modern with adequate lighting with 3 cubicles which was behind me as I was facing the mirrors and basins. When I was almost done with refilling my water bottle, I heard one of the cubicle flush. There was nobody in the toilet except me. The door was half ajar, and since I stepped in, no one came in. I ignored the flushing sound. Maybe I missed out one of the guards, I thought. While looking at the mirror, which reflected the 3 cubicle, whoosh, there in a few seconds, just a few seconds. 3 bloody flashes from 3 cubicles, which after the first flush. Meaning the 3 cubicle, toilet flush, all flush together. Who the hell were inside? I asked myself. Just nice I finished topping up my water bottle. After fastening to the pouches, I heard another set of sound. Repeatedly, rapidly, I took my baton and faced the 3 cubicles. One by one, I gave a light kick to see what the hell is going on inside. There was no one. The flashing sound ceased one after another when they ran out of the water to flush, but the clunk sound remained. I took a step forward and nearly went weak at both knees. Right in front of me, the metallic push button for the flush was depressed, and when extended, depressed again. So it was like a bit invisible arm trying to push the flush, and when it extend up, it was depressed again. It was weird. I took a few steps back and saw all the push button rapidly moving up and down. This time around, they were moving very fast. Like something were there all the time pushing the buttons non-stop. This was weird. How can the button just up, down by itself? I reversed, grabbed my gear and fast marched all the way to the restroom and shared this story with people. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the 3 army camp stories. So I hope you won't get to see all these things. And please remember to support my channel and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Son of Winter. Thank you. Have a good day.